Good morning and welcome to the KTV newscast for Wednesday, September 25th, 2019.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we are having a Chipotle fundraiser tonight. It's the one on Lincoln and State College, and it starts at 4 to 8 p.m. So at checkout, make sure you say you are with Yearbook, and up next is JROTC.
Hey guys, we're JLTC. Today we'll be selling boba after school in front of the library. Across the library, sorry.
It's one for $2 and three for $5.
She's a crackhead. 1 for 3, 2 for 5.
Sorry, I said it wrong.
Come on, support.
Thank you. Up next is Gear Up.
Hello, Tele Nights. My name is Emmanuel.
My name is Mario. My name is Ulysses.
And we're here
Gear Up. Yeah.
And we're here to talk to you about Gear Up Week. And today at the quad, we're gonna have we're gonna be writing notes to your future self.
Also, we'll be having a photo booth out there, so if any of you guys want to take pictures of you and your friends, feel free to join.
We'll also be having a table out to play loteria, so please come visit.
Up next is girls soccer.
Hey Knights, girls soccer tryouts are coming up next weekend, or next week.
The days are October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Come out.
Make sure you pick up your paperwork and turn it in at Coach's Goose's
Room 504.
If you have any questions, you can text the Catella Instagram, Catella V Soccer, or you can ask any of the soccer girls. Up next is NHS.
Varsity looks.
Hey guys, I'm Emmanuel, your NHS president. Just a quick reminder that applications are due this Friday to room 145 to Miss Walsh. And next up is senior class.
Good morning, Knights. We're your senior class officers, and just a reminder that ticket sales are going on, and seniors, if you have a package, all you have to do is grab a contract and turn it into Geyer.
And then voting, second round of senior voting will start in your government and econ classes. So government teachers and econ teachers, please make sure you give your students some time to go on Schoology. I believe that's what Mr. Majusi's going to send it through. And yeah, just make sure you guys vote.
And next up is junior class.
Hey juniors, so we just want to let you know that homecoming is coming up and it is included in your package.
And before you get your contract and everything, you do have to do a second payment, which is $50 by Monday, the 30th.
Yeah, so make sure you get in your second payment so you can get your contract in and go to homecoming.
Yes, and up next is
Word of the day. Thank you.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey, every day can be a better day despite the challenge. All you gotta do is leave it better than you found it. It's gonna get difficult to stand, but hold your balance. I just say whatever, cause there is no way you're around it. Everyone falls down sometimes.
Key Club has a meeting today in the theater. Homecoming proposal poster applications are still available in front of Miss Geyer's office. Small is 22 inches for $3, medium is 33 inches for $5, and large is 44 inches for $7. If you feel like large is too small, you can purchase another one and we will add it on. The price will depend on the extra size you are purchasing. Make asking the special someone special by having your posters being made by our very own ASD.
There's a GSA club today. Now stay tuned for a special voting turnout video.
I remember the first time I voted, I was 18. Me and my mom, we walked down to the polling place, and on our way there, she's literally telling everybody that we're walking past that it's her baby's first time to vote. She's taking pictures before we voted, while we're voting, which I'm pretty sure is illegal, and even after we're voting. And I'll just never forget that. And I've voted in every election since. In 2019, for the first time ever, millennials which includes yours truly, will surpass the baby boomers as the largest voting bloc in the US. And with that comes a lot of power, especially since there's so much at stake in the 2020 election. The thing is, people under 30 tend not to vote nearly as much as people over 30, or like over 45 if we're really being honest. But if we don't vote, it means election results may not actually reflect what the largest generation of people actually want. Yikes. So, why don't younger generations vote as much as older people do? First of all, this isn't just another let's blame it all on millennials thing. Younger generations have always voted at lower rates, even before 1971 when the voting age was lowered from 21 to 18. And today, just under half of 20-somethings vote in general elections. But this was about the same amount of that age group that voted in 1980. So yeah, when baby boomers were in their 20s, they also didn't vote. And this isn't just an American problem. Most democratic nations around the world have a hard time getting young people to vote too. Take the United Kingdom, for example. Around only 40% of people ages 18 to 24 tend to vote in their general elections. Older generations love to say it's because young people are lazy, but that argument doesn't really hold up if you look at the fact that younger people today volunteer much more than older people and also tend to be more highly educated. So let's take a look at some theories because the lazy one just isn't playing anymore. For one thing, people under 30 are much less likely to own property or have children, so there's less incentive to vote on issues like school boards or property taxes, issues that bring a lot of people to the polls. Another theory has to do with the major change in the American public school curriculum that took place after the politically charged years of the Vietnam War. Before the late 60s, most schools offered civics courses, where students will learn the ins and outs of how our government works. While most states still offer some type of civics course, I took a class called government in my senior year, it's typically just a single semester, and only a small handful of states mandate that you pass a civics test to graduate high school. The movement away from civics courses has left a major gap in education. A 2016 survey found that only 26% of Americans can name all 3 branches of government. Social studies classes provide important background on historical events, but not much about how we as citizens can participate and exercise our political power by voting, volunteering, and advocating for causes we believe in. And while we're at it, can we get a class on how to do taxes or like what a 401k is, because those things are confusing too. On top of that, it may also be that young people face voter suppression. We typically think of this as a race or class problem, but guess what? Today's younger generations are some of the most racially diverse our country has ever seen. And for obvious reasons, young people tend to have a lot less money than older people, which can make it a lot harder to vote, especially if you have to work multiple jobs and can't get the day off to actually go to the polls, or don't have the time to research about which candidates and policies you want to support, or if you simply don't have a car to get to your polling station, which in some areas can be really far from home. And another major problem is that most young voters are totally dissatisfied with both major political parties right now. A 2016 poll found that only 28% of young adults feel like the 2 parties accurately represent the interests of the American people. Even though there are other parties in the US, they tend to be very fringe. So if you don't like the 2 major political parties, you probably won't like their candidates either. And therefore, you have less incentive to vote. We spoke to Mindy Romero, an expert on youth voting and why it's so hard to get younger generations to vote.
There's a number of factors. One is the fact that candidates and campaigns do very little outreach to young people. They're seen as not likely voters. They, in any given election, don't get that outreach or that mobilization, and it becomes a vicious cycle because, of course, then they won't turn out, and it just continues. Very much related to that is that because young people aren't outreached to, the types of issues and topics, policies that candidates and campaigns are discussing are usually almost always for older voters. We're not talking about issues for young people because they're not trying to turn young people out to vote.
So yeah, guys, voting's kind of a big deal. But there are a lot of other ways to be politically active, especially if you're not old enough to vote. There are things like protests, contacting public officials, boycotting, posting to blogs and social media, volunteering and signing petitions. Our generation is not about sitting around and waiting for change to happen, despite the stereotypes out there. For example, one study out of UCLA found that college freshmen in 2015 were way more likely to be engaged in student activism and protest than most freshman classes before them. Popular movements like Black Lives Matter and March for Our Lives have prompted thousands of young people to take to the streets and walk out of their classrooms in protest of institutional racism and our nation's gun laws. Social media has played a big role in these movements, and the hashtags are almost everywhere. So, what would make you excited to vote? How do you think the system could change to make it easier for young people to exercise this basic democratic right? Let us know in the comments below.